시청자 여러분 안녕하십니까? 전 세계 교회와 선교지 소식 전해드리는 CGN월드뉴스 정은지입니다. 첫 번째 소식 CBN에서 보내온 소식부터 전해드립니다. 선교 여행을 떠났던 한 남성은 물 한 잔을 청하고 냉혹한 현실을 마주해야 했습니다. 세계 인구의 많은 수가 안전한 마실 물을 공급받을 수 없습니다. 그는 그들을 도우라는 주님의 음성을 들었고 지난 10년간 버킨 미니스트리를 통해 20여 개국 25만 가정에 깨끗한 물을 공급했습니다. 텍사스 북부에 있는 버킨 미니스트리는 아메리카 대륙과 아시아, 아프리카 등지에 안전하고 깨끗한 식수를 제공하는 것으로 하나님의 사랑을 전한다는 사명을 다하고 있습니다.
We have probably distributed filters in almost 30 countries now. We're actively working in about 12 countries.
크리스 베스 버킨 미니스트리 회장은 2012년에 딸과 함께 브라질 아마존 선교 여행을 갔다가 목이 마르냐는 현지인의 질문에 깨끗한 물을 얻을 수 없는 환경이 어떤 것인지 직접 경험했습니다.
I expected her to go into a refrigerator and get a bottle of water. But what she did in turn is she went out into this little plank on this house, bent down with 2 cups. They were irregular, they were mismatched and cracked, and she filled these 2 cups up with river water.
자신이 목격한 것에 충격을 받은 베스 회장에게 그 다음 일어난 일은 상상조차 하지 못했던 일이었습니다.
I've never been in the business of hearing God's voice. In fact, I thought when people say, God told me, I would think, oh boy. Yeah, and so I heard something, and I heard 2 words, and he clearly said, help them.
베스 회장은 집에 돌아온 직후부터 도울 방법을 찾기 시작했습니다. 그는 달라스 캠핑 용품점에서 답을 찾아냈습니다. 신장 투석에 사용되는 것과 동일한 기술로 더러운 물에서 해로운 박테리아를 제거하는 필터를 발견했습니다.
It attaches to any bucket or receptacle. I've went ahead and put some lake water in here from the local lake, so we'll see if we can make some clean water from this. So we'll tip the filter down and allow it to start filtering into the clean cup. And as you can see, the water is going from the bucket, through the hose, through the filter. The filter is capturing all the dirt, the debris, the parasites, everything that's making people sick from drinking unclean surface water. And this is what we're left with as a result.
버킨 미니스트리는 베스 회장이 필터를 구비하고 브라질을 재방문해 깨끗하고 안전한 물을 공급하면서 시작됐습니다. 버킨 미니스트리는 20개가 넘는 나라에서 활동 중입니다.
In the last 10 years, we've probably distributed in excess of 250,000. So we've helped about 250,000 families. Just last year alone, we distributed about 35,000.
단체의 주요 사역지 가운데 한 곳은 40만여 명이 거주하는 케냐 나이로비의 키베라 슬럼가입니다. 사람의 배설물이 대부분 슬럼가에 흐르는 강에 버려지고 물을 오염시키며 질병과 죽음을 초래합니다. 버킨 미니스트리는 소이어 프로덕트의 필터를 사용합니다.
Our filter that you could take, the same one that backpackers and hikers use on the trail, but we devised a way to hook it up to a bucket, which is very common all around the world. And that's kind of how the bucket ministry started.
연간 수익의 90%를 깨끗한 물 프로젝트에 할당하는 소이어 프로덕트는 버킨 미니스트리가 키베라 슬럼 전체에 깨끗한 물을 공급하고자 한다는 것을 알았을 때 그 기회에 뛰어들었습니다.
They had this incredible map of the slum, 3 square miles, 400,000 people, and it ended up being 95,000 homes, and Sawyer actually donated all 95,000 of the filters.
수인성 질병으로 병들고 죽어가는 사람들의 수가 극적으로 감소했습니다.
We are hearing reports that the numbers of patients coming through clinics are so few compared to what it was that clinics are having to close and consolidate operations.
깨끗한 물 공급은 복음을 전할 여러 기회를 열었습니다.
We use the water as a tool, and it's a tool to get to that point of sharing the gospel. So for us, it's all about the Great Commission and going and making disciples.
필터에는 고유의 바코드가 부여되며 버킨 미니스트리는 이를 통해 필터의 작동 여부와 각 가정과 공동체의 신체적, 영적 건강을 추적할 수 있습니다.
I've been blessed over 10 years to be able to see mothers that didn't name their children because they knew the children were going to die. I get to see them have this clean water for the first time through this simple tool.
이 단순한 필터는 베스 회장의 인생에도 큰 변화를 만들어냈습니다.
Prior to the last 10 years, I was not involved with the church. I wasn't even a very good follower of Jesus. Now I get to see him work every single day. And what it's done for me is it's given me a faith that I don't think I would have ever had without seeing him work like this.
북아프리카 수단이 군벌 간 무력 분쟁으로 혼란에 빠졌습니다. 지난 2019년 오랜 기간 집권했던 독재자 오마르 알 바시르를 몰아내기 위해 힘을 모았던 두 장군이 싸우고 있습니다. 수단 수도 하르툼에서 군벌 세력들의 무력 충돌이 격화하면서 민간인 400명 이상이 사망하고 3,500여 명이 다쳤습니다. 수백만 명의 시민들이 집안에 갇힌 채로 식량과 물 부족을 겪고 있습니다. 인권단체 하드와이어드 글로벌의 티나 라미레즈 회장이 자세한 소식 전해드립니다. 이번 사태는 현재 수단 군부 지도자인 압델파타 부르한 장군과 준 군사 조직인 신속지원군 RSF를 이끄는 모하메드 함단 다갈로 장군 간의 권력 다툼에서 촉발됐습니다.
In 2021, there was a coup and they overthrew the civilian transitional government that was taking place and trying to establish democracy in Sudan. But the peace between these two generals has unraveled and they are fighting for power and making a lot of claims over what that looks like. But on the ground, what people see is the head of the army and the head of the RSF paramilitary troop, which the General Hameti basically oversees about 100,000 troops. So it's a pretty significant number. And these are troops made up of people that fought in Darfur, people from not just Sudan, but from neighboring countries that came in as kind of mercenaries to help fight in Darfur against the people there at the behest of Omar al-Bashir, the dictator that they had overthrown a few years ago. And so it's extremely concerning, this infighting between the two of them and how the situation has unraveled so quickly on the ground in Sudan, really creating almost a civil war within Sudan. And it's horrifying for the people.
두 군벌 세력의 무력 충돌로 인해 민간인들이 가장 큰 피해를 입고 있습니다. 하르툼 시민들은 식량 부족과 단수, 단전으로 고통받고 있습니다. 교회 역시 어려움을 겪고 있습니다.
I mean, when the RSF came in, they bombed the airport, which is, unbelievable. And so people weren't able to really escape the city. The cities have always been fairly safe within Sudan, but they're not anymore. And the RSF, when they came in, have been attacking civilians across the board. They've been looting and burning churches. I have some video footage of a evangelical church that's being burned from within, but even the Anglican Church reported that they've all evacuated and that some of their property, cars, some of their homes have been destroyed. So the fear amongst the Christian community there in Sudan, as many of them are trying to flee as best they can, because as I said, a lot of the access and normal abilities to leave the city are just cut off since the city's never really been at war in this way. It's always been in the outskirts of the villages, but they're trying to escape on buses, on foot. And it's leaving a lot of people being held within homes and with no food and water. As you said, the hospitals have all shut down. It's horrific. And I think that the greatest fear of the church, as I'm talking to Christians in Sudan and in South Sudan, because the two countries are so interrelated, is the fear that they will return to the decades of religious persecution that they saw before. Because Hameti, who's running the RSF, really was discipled by Omar al-Bashir. He is no different than Bashir, if not worse. Great fear that the country will return to the conflict that we saw in the religious persecution under Omar al-Bashir. Well, we need to pray for the ceasefire and the peace to come back, and for the civilian government to be reestablished. I think that's the greatest prayer that we need to have for the people there.
항공모함 HW 부시호가 파병 임무를 마치고 반년 만에 노포크의 해군 기지로 귀향했습니다. 자세한 소식 전해드립니다. 거대한 항공모함이 항구를 향합니다. 선원들은 배 주변에 둘러섭니다. 이들의 무사 귀환을 가족과 친구들은 애타게 기다렸습니다. 8개월이 넘는 긴 시간이었고 제외하는 이들의 모습 속에서 그 시간이 느껴집니다.
This is our 8th deployment, so she's been through 8 deployments, 17 years of marriage. So I would say that it was routine, but it's never routine. It's always a joy to come back and see my family again, especially after 8.5 months.
This is amazing. I mean, I haven't seen this guy ever. I mean, he was born on deployment. So in the middle of deployment, I got to video chat with my wife, and this is the first time I get to see him.
데니스 베레즈 해군 소장은 항모 타격단을 지휘합니다.
I've been doing this for 31 years. This is my 10th deployment, and I just come in here and seeing family, seeing the sailors, seeing their families for the first time. It is magical. It is really it is the best part of the deployment. Is coming home.
5천여 명의 선원들이 탑승한 부시호는 26개국과 협력해 아프리카와 유럽 작전 지역에서 미국의 나토 동맹국과 파트너 관계를 발전시켰습니다.
All a part of our effort to reinforce the strong relationship that we have with our NATO allies and to promote peace through strength and strength through unity.
또 항모 타격단은 미국과 이스라엘의 사상 최대 규모의 연합 군사훈련에 참여했습니다.
Units from the Army, the Air Force, and the United States Navy joined up with Israeli Defense Forces and participated in a multi-domain, so air, maritime, and land warfare exercises.
파병 기간 동안 신앙은 중요한 역할을 했습니다.
Usually when our sailors show up to underway chapel services in the forecastle, we say welcome to the Great Awakening aboard George Herbert Walker Bush. It's usually filled to overflowing, and we're very grateful for a rock band and gospel choir that combine forces every Sunday and just rock out, and it's a very alive chapel service.
I absolutely rededicated my life to Christ, and I feel so good about it.
I'm excited. I don't even know. Like, there's no words to explain what it's like to be secretly praying declarations over your husband, and for him to email you and say, I've accepted Jesus Christ into my heart. It blew me away. I literally just fell to my knees and was so excited, just thanking God for it.
군인 가족을 돕는 CBN의 사역단체 헬핑 더 홈프론트는 워리어스 전이와 함께 부시호 귀환 축하 행사를 도왔습니다. 두 단체는 군인 가족들에게 성경 등이 들어있는 선물을 전달했습니다.
It's such an honor to be for CBN to have helping the home front that program and to be able to reach out to all branches of the military and help families. We want to support them. They're out there fighting for our freedom, and we want them to know that we are here, right here in town, ready to serve them.
오랜 파병 끝에 가족들과 친구들의 사랑에 흠뻑 젖어 그동안의 시간을 만회할 때입니다. CGN 월드뉴스는 새로운 시대에 변치 않는 복음을 전하며 세상에 바로 서고자 하는 그리스도인들의 눈이 되겠습니다. 시청해 주셔서 감사드립니다.